Namaste, Suswagatam, and welcome to our Sunday edition of Gyan Ganga Words of Wisdom on our Virat Hindustan Sangam social media channel. As you all know, we are on various platforms having this program live for the benefit of the viewers across the globe. Today, we are at episode number 234, and today's topic is AstraZeneca COVIShield, which is known as India, its withdrawal, what it means for India, and we will be for the next 35 minutes to an hour discussing this with Dr. Subramanian Swamy and our panel. So without much discussion at this stage, it is over to Dr. Subramanian Swamy to initiate discussion on this COVID-19 vaccine, which was in India and abroad. So with this is over to Dr. Swamy.
Thank you, Jagdish and colleagues who are present here for this very important issue. The reason we have taken it up is that we have been vindicated. Our program was the only program which was of the view that these Swadeshi the Swadeshi one that was produced by ILA, and it was called, it had the name of Covaxin.
Yes.
This was the only thing that would be suitable for India, and this foreign one for Britain should not be. But unfortunately, the man whose factory decided to pick up the British version, which was in India called COVIShield, no shield at all, and that person, I think, is now migrated to London. So, and what we are told today is that long before we were informed today, we were informed, I think, in sometime early May, and that too not in a formal thing. It was a letter written to one of the journalists in which it was given in great detail that they had closed it down as far back as 2021. And we have been continuing to have it even though the British had closed it down in their country. So we have been, in a sense, used. Excuse me, my throat. I have had we have been in a situation where we have almost taken up the throwaway product of the British and used it here, and tried to even prevent an Indian-made one, which is COVIShield, which is an alternative COVIShield, and this was done by Dr. Ella, who was educated in the United States. Then he came back and patriotism, set up a factory here, set up a unit here, and then he produced a Swadeshi version of it, and which Swadeshi version ultimately proved to be successful because there was not a single death that took place. There was not a single effect that had which was out of the ordinary. It was a complete success, but he did it all on his own without any support from the government. Even the government didn't buy what he was doing. So what I'm saying today is that we have still not come out of this westernized domination of our country. Even a BJP party headed, whose prime minister was Mr. Modi, who talked about Swadeshi and all that all the time. When it came to prescribing for the drug for the corona problem we had in our country, he chose a foreign one, and that foreign one had animal products in order to create that. The trials they use, AstraZeneca ever used the animal products to produce the product. So we are in a situation where we This should shake us up. And I think Mr. Modi owes a explanation to the country. Why did you do this? Why did you give preference to a British handover to us and allow them to get? And it was only the Parliament's committee for health, where I was a member, where Mulayam Singh's, I think, cousin brother was the chairman, and he, both of us, fought tooth and nail and said, when there is a claim to for an Indian, a Swadeshi product, which they said is superior and will have no after effects, and that by Dr. Ela, we should use that. And that ultimately agreed finally that both will be there. But AstraZeneca or whatever they call it, they got all the support from the government, whereas the Indian the Desi product did not get any support from others. Still, they managed it, and they have done extremely well. And the Bharat biotech needs, therefore, a acknowledgement of the country, acknowledgement of the government that they have proved that India is best when it comes to such matters. So I would just say that today what we are going to consider is what we need to do now to rectify what damage has been done to us already, and how do we proceed further in case a similar thing happens in the future. So with that note, for which we think we have specially arranged this, it is, although it's not as a glamorous subject as for when we deal with war with China or something like that, but it's still a matter of great interest, now national security matter, that we should Swadeshi is still the first priority, should be the first priority, not the last priority. And that is why today we have held this Gyan Ganga, and we have got three experts here, and over to them and to give their points of view.
Dr. Swamy, before we proceed further,
Yes.
if I recall correctly, the proceedings of your consultative committee or standing committee on health, where you
Yes.
were a member,
Yes.
at one particular day, the government wanted to give only the COVIShield as the only vaccine in India, and we heard from you that Indian product of Bharat Biotech, which was named as Covaxin, was not yet considered by the government at the highest level, but definitely at the lower level. And two Indian institutes, that is NIV, NIV and ICMR, which are both government-funded institutes, they were in collaboration with Bharat Biotech to
Yes.
have a Make in India vaccine. What exactly happened in your committee and on that fateful day when COVIShield was to be released? We just want to refresh our viewers.
Well, the whole idea is that the committee, health committee, took a stand. In the beginning, the officers who had come to depose on this matter, they came because they knew that that the Prime Minister was in favor of something the British. He wanted to perhaps make a big name there. There were people in Pune, the elite, part of the elite, who thought the British is still de facto ruler of India, I think. And in that context, we what we said is that Mr. and Mrs. both were in America, got educated, came back, patriotism, and built brick by brick what they have done. Dr. Ela should be given this opportunity to prove himself, because they thought this was so sophisticated a technology that the British would know it, but the Indians would not know it. Even if Indians are educated in America, even then they are not white skinned. So therefore, we had to remove that, and we made a statement that the health committee fully supports the Swadeshi version. And at last, after having given a clean chit and given the precedence to the British one, the Prime Minister also in the end, because his signature was necessary, but he felt the pressure, and he also signed to say that this can also be at the same time be a alternative to the Indian people if they want.
अरविंद, आपका अगला सवाल.
I can't hear you.
आज जो ज्ञान गंगा द्वारा ये प्रश्न डॉक्टर स्वामी ने उठाया है, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, पूरे देश के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, विशेषकर जबकि कोविशील्ड बनाने वाली कंपनी ने ये न्यायालयों में स्वीकार किया है कि उनके वैक्सीन के साइड इफेक्ट्स की वजह से कुछ लोगों की डेथ हो सकती थी. ये क्लिनिकल ट्रायल में भी आया था. जब ये बात हमारी भारत सरकार को पता थी, तो भारत सरकार ने बिना ये परीक्षण किए हुए कि भारतीय परिस्थितियों में इसका क्या प्रभाव होगा, जल्दबाजी में इसको अनुमति दी गई. और अभी भी समय है कि समय रहते ICMR, इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ मेडिकल रिसर्च, और दूसरी जो संस्थाएं हैं वो एक रिसर्च शुरू करें, एक कंट्रोल सैंपल लें और एक ट्रीटमेंट सैंपल लें. कंट्रोल सैंपल का मतलब जिन लोगों ने कोविशील्ड वैक्सीन नहीं ली है और जिन लोगों ने कोविशील्ड वैक्सीन ली है, उनकी दोनों की तुलनात्मक अध्ययन किया जाए. ये पता लगाया जाए कि भारतीय परिस्थितियों में, भारतीय मरीजों में जिन लोगों ने कोविशील्ड लिया है, और साथ साथ ये भी परीक्षण किया जाए कि उनकी तुलना में कोवैक्सीन लेने वालों की जो डेथ, अगर हम ये आंकड़े देखें पिछले 2 सालों में जिस प्रकार से सडन डेथ शुरू हुई है, लोगों में नाचते नाचते, गाते गाते, खेलते खेलते, खाते खाते, इतने रोज समाचार पत्रों में इस प्रकार के समाचार आते हैं कि लोगों ने अच्छे खासे भले बैठे हुए थे और 2 मिनट के अंदर उनकी मौत हो गई. बाद में पता लगा कि वो हार्ट अटैक से हुई है. ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं हुआ. हालांकि ICMR ने एक पहले रिसर्च स्टडी की है और उस रिसर्च स्टडी में ये बताया है कि ये वैक्सीन के प्रभाव से नहीं है, लेकिन उन्होंने ये भी नहीं कहा कि वैक्सीन प्रभाव नहीं है. उन्होंने ये कहा कि हो सकता है फैमिली हिस्ट्री हो सडन डेथ की. अगर फैमिली हिस्ट्री सडन डेथ की हो तो पिछले सालों में क्यों ये इस प्रकार के समाचार नहीं आए? और ये सिर्फ मैं रोज अखबार पढ़ता हूँ, रोज अखबारों में या टेलीविजन पे इस प्रकार के समाचार दिखाए जाते हैं. हमें चौंक जाना चाहिए और ये समय है कदम उठाने का. एक कोरिलेशन एस्टेब्लिश किया जाना चाहिए, वेदर देयर एग्जिस्ट एनी कोरिलेशन between the patients who had taken Covishield and who had not taken Covishield. And also the sample should be taken of those people who had taken alternative vaccine, which is Covaxin made by Bharat Biotech. And a large sample will only establish, is there any correlation between the vaccine and the sudden deaths and the resultant. Now, एक बात मैं और कहना चाहता हूँ, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात है. 8 परिवार ऐसे हैं भारत में जिन्होंने ये निश्चय किया है कि वो कोर्ट जाएंगे और उनके परिवार में those people who have died in their families after taking the vaccine, they will approach the court for compensation, demand compensation from the manufacturer, which is Serum Institute in India and AstraZeneca worldwide. Now, this has happened many times in many different products, not only vaccines in United States of America. I remember a case where a nurse had died in Portland, I think Oregon, of lung cancer in 1999, and her family approached court saying that this cancer was caused by her smoking, and the company which was manufacturing cigarette, Philip Morris company, which is a worldwide renowned company, had to pay compensation of $150 million. So therefore, the cause and effect can be established through correlation, and therefore this company should be liable for compensation of deaths which have taken place in India because of the vaccine.
It's an excellent point, Arvind. I think this is what this today's session was about. That we have now got solid information that the government of India, without caring for any alternative opinions, they accepted a British vaccine, which turned out in their own country to have caused problems in the United States, problems. And just because some of these IT types who became international gentlemen, you know whom I'm talking about, they recommended them, and the Prime Minister wanted to show what a great man he is, and how he cares for the international world. Whatever. It is the Prime Minister who bears the responsibility. Therefore, all those who feel either, I mean, if they can find even a single Covaxin which Dr. Ula produced any leave alone death. I'm saying have produced even some effect on them which has been negative, would be I'll be totally surprised, because according to my information, at that time the Parliamentary Committee's investigation, all that showed that this was a perfect one for India, because it was based on, it was the most important thing, it was based on vegetables. Whereas COVIShield is based on, sorry to shock you, on the excreta of the chimpanzees. Was one of the ingredients. Why? And other animal products which were used in terms of producing the COVIShield, and none of our people were told about it. And they in England they stopped it in 2021. We continued it till 2023. So therefore, I think the so-called Serum Institute, of which Mr. Adar Poonawalla was directly involved, was profited by it. These are people who have to be subject to a public interest litigation, and they should cough up money for those who have died because of the fact that they took COVIShield.
Dr. Swamy, the recent disclosure about the electoral bonds
Yes.
has also gave this information that the manufacturer of COVIShield in India, that is Serum Institute of India, had also paid money to BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party,
Yes.
through electoral bonds.
50
and
crores.
That was after COVID. That means
Yes.
after huge order which government of India had made for the COVIShield vaccine.
Yes.
Put two and two together, it appears that there is something fishy in this donation, and
Yes.
maybe some people are considering this donation as some kind of bribe to the ruling party after it has been detected that people had side effects after taking the COVIShield.
Well, we'll have one more session after the election results come out. Then we'll know whether we can prosecute or not prosecute without interference from the government. So this is a very well taken point, and we need to take it to its logical conclusion, and especially since one of the COVIShield producer is now migrated to Britain, which is a very bad sign in my opinion. We should not have allowed him to. Or in any case, we can always summon him if there is a serious case. But I do think that we have to be very careful about all these issues when we blindly accept anything foreign. Foreign must be superior. We must ask our Indian scientists, do you accept that you can do better than this, or you would like to accept this foreign? I'm not saying you should not should be xenophobic and say everything Indian is good and everything foreign is bad, but there needs to be a comprehensive analysis before a decision is made.
Dr. Swamy, I have one more question. Very interestingly, after this disclosure that
Yes.
AstraZeneca had declared this in some courts abroad, that there is some kind of relationship between the sudden deaths or some kind of medical complications for those people who are taking COVIShield. In India,
Yes.
the photograph of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been withdrawn from the COVID vaccination certificates.
Yes. Well, that speaks for itself. I don't have to comment on it. What about, yeah.
Dr. Swamy, I have a couple of things to say. When during the peak of COVID,
Yes.
as I just displayed during one of the episodes in Gyan Ganga, episode number 91, we
Yes.
had Dr. Varun Sundaram, again a US educated, very well-known person. He very clearly said that the inactivated vaccines made by Covaxin was better than the mRNA vaccines made from animal components, I mean whatever, as in COVIShield, and it has proven true again. And as you said, Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga has been very balanced, getting listened to both sides of the equation and presented the facts to the people, and it is now coming to roost. It is just whatever we have said again even during those discussions, Dr. Swamy, you are very clear what happened during your meetings in the parliamentary committee meetings. I want to bring two important points, Dr. Swamy. You mentioned in the beginning that this Serum Institute has sent a note to the press sometime in May, first week of May. And in that note, as you mentioned, they said that they stopped manufacturing the vaccine in 2021, and that they already knew that there was this problem with this thrombosis and all then, and they put it in a small insert in the vaccine bottle. It is such a dumb statement to make, Dr. So I'll tell you why. How many patients who got the vaccines were given a copy of that paper? Or was that even publicized to the people's knowledge that yes, if you take COVIShield, you will get blood clots in your bloodstream? It was not disclosed, but they claim it was in the insert in the injection bottle. What an absurd claim, number one. And number two, Dr. Swamy, I have spent the past 30 minutes scouring through the website of Serum Institute. There is not even one press release to that effect. As of today, as of this moment, there is not a press release or a statement by the company saying that they have stopped manufacturing in December 21. Whatever press release they gave a press note on May 1st week. Why is that not being put up on their website? If that is the case, if they said December 21 they stopped manufacturing, I have one very important piece of research paper, quote unquote, made by Tata Institute of some Tata Institute that claims COVIShield is better than Covaxin. When? Not in December 21. 2024, they're claiming in January that they did research, COVIShield is better than Covaxin. Then how did they stop manufacturing?
Well, you should.
As Arvindji said, there is something really fishy going around with this. And thankfully, what I've read so far, India has not given legal indemnity to any of the manufacturers. In the US, Pfizer has indemnity. Nobody can sue them. They have complete indemnity. If a million people die in America because of Pfizer's vaccines, you can't do anything about it because they were given blanket immunity for their vaccine. I am not sure whether it has been given to India. So far, it has not come up. But will those kind of immunities stand in a court of law, Dr. Swamy, in India?
Ramesh, let me just make a point.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, those days, Pfizer has also approached government of India, but they wanted this kind of indemnity which government of India had not given, and that is why Pfizer did not come to India. That is what I remember from those days, what appeared in the media.
Now, I can add to that, saying that it became before the committee in a discussion. And we said very clearly that under no circumstance we'll give it to anybody, even to an Indian company. So if you have made a mistake, you have to pay for it. Today, I would say, add to what both of you have contributed to, that we must begin the process. I can file a PIL, that's not a problem for me, but then I wouldn't be able to appear as a expert witness, because I am an expert witness in this matter since I was member of the committee on health of Parliament. And so if I myself file a case, I can't appear as an expert, except people won't accept it that I am objective. So I would like to see government set up a committee. Otherwise, we'll have to go to court and set up a committee and say all the files will be available in the. Once you set up a committee, the committee has to be given a
Public disclosure.
etc. And there we should
Examine.
And then call for all those who say that they their relative or uncle or brother of a husband has died because of this, to come and make a complaint, and then to examine those complaints and then hold hearings, so that never again anybody can play with the Indian lives the way they have played in the past.
Dr. Swamy, I want to share this. This is a recent so-called research published in 6th March 2024, 2024, March 6th. Bharat Biotech's vaccine, Covaxin, not as effective as Serum Institute. And the claim is done by NCBS, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they do a research in 2024 and say Covishield is better than Covaxin if Serum Institute claims that it has stopped manufacturing in 2021, December 2021? So in 2 years, Dr. Swamy, Serum Institute has failed to notify the public in India that they stopped manufacturing, one, and two, not openly disclosed, saying that their vaccine can cause blood clots.
Yeah.
So aren't these two facts enough to take them to court, Dr. Swamy?
You give me the material, I'll go and file a PIL in the Supreme Court.
Ramesh, where is it published?
Which this, whatever I just did, I'll share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, you send it to me, and I will definitely be able to file a PIL in the context of all this has happened. And I have a legitimate ground to do it, because I was a member of the committee and we had opposed it. And I myself took Dr. Ila's Covaxin. And so therefore I've kept a consistent point of view, and I believe that this is a responsibility for the PM, Prime Minister, to answer. I would urge before I go to court, the Prime Minister must get somebody will report to him our Gyan Ganga, because I know that he gets a regular report from Gyan Ganga from us, because of the fact that all three of us are mischievous characters. So I would like to see the Prime Minister act on it, because otherwise he will become one of the accused. Let me warn the Prime Minister: if you do not discharge your duty for whatever time is left for you, I don't know whether you will make it back again or not, but at least you should initiate it, and then later on we can defend you. But the fact of the matter is that he has to explain that who told him that the British would be superior to the one, an Indian one, and why is it that he himself took Dr. Illa's shot and not the one that we are complaining against, namely the AstraZeneca. So we are in a situation where there's a lot of nonsense going on, and Tata has already, ever since Ratan Tata, whom I call as Rotten Tata, he has brought down the name of and standard of the Tata companies, and he addressing it, as you correctly point out, in 2024, what had already been concluded in 2021. So it means they are acting on behalf of some other people, just in case somebody gets an idea from the media and watching Gyan Ganga and so on, and wants to go and put a PIL or something like that. Or I don't know what the fear was, but the fact is that this itself shows that they have something to hide.
One more point, Dr. Swamy. I want to add one more piece of information. This is their website from Serum Institute. The last press release is 3rd May. Let me make this bigger. Sorry. I don't know if you can see. The
Yes.
last press release, 3rd May. It doesn't talk about this debacle that has happened to India. No. So, and even before that, in 25th of April, nothing. If you go back, they have not said anything about this huge issue that is facing them. Even if, okay, fine, if it is not there, at least it should be on their home web page saying that this is what it is, this is our statement. Why is it they're issuing a statement only to press and not making it open to public and saying this is what we have to do? Typically, in any country, Dr. Swamy, irrespective of size and small, a company that says that it has an issue with one of their vaccines, why have they not disclosed it that they stopped manufacturing in December 2021? It is not there. I can bet on you, Dr. Swamy, there is no such thing on their website. One more shocking news, Dr. Swamy, I want to share with you. This has happened recently. Please bear with me. I want to share one more. Now, look at this. Recently, nobody knows the effective now. Suddenly, Modi is promising that he will vaccinate all girls in India against cervical cancer. Who is he to keep doing this, Dr. Swamy? We don't know the effectiveness of such vaccines.
And he's informing Bill Gates again.
No, because Bill Gates, one of the companies that Bill Gates has apparently invested is manufacturing this drug. What is this? Again, as you said, Dr. Swamy, it's not xenophobia, but what is this fantasy of saying, oh, every foreign vaccine will work for people in India? India's DNA, people are different, the DNA are different, probably. I don't know. I'm not that kind of a scientist. But we should first make sure that this works for people in India. Why go experiment with girls like this?
I agree.
I mean, what is this disease? I mean, it shows the intention of the government that they're desperate to do something without any knowledge as to what will be the downstream impact. Why has this is again, Dr. Swamy, this, if you notice, the date this happened is May 12th. This is exactly 10 days after AstraZeneca issue. Why would a prime minister of the country, knowing a fact that a previously approved vaccine called COVIShield had effects and costs, why would he commit to something like this without any proof or knowledge of what this vaccine could entail for the children in India?
Yeah.
See, Bill Gates Foundation operates in India through Ministry of Health also, and a large number of projects under Ministry of Health, Government of India, have been funded or partially funded by Bill Gates Foundation that I know. So maybe this is one of the proposals from the Bill Gates Foundation that they will donate or something. I do not know what are the terms and conditions, but I think this is a very important point highlighted by Ramesh. It should also be investigated by researchers as to what has gone into background before making this commitment.
I agree. And the Prime Minister should know that if he doesn't take the initiative now, tomorrow he will be one of the accused as being part of a racket at the cost of the Indian people. And if he doesn't come back to power again, which is not an impossible thought, then he would be a sitting duck for the opponents. And at that time, we in the party will not be in a position to support him, because we knew it all along. Some of us, I certainly will have this problem, because as a member of the health committee, I knew it all along, and I brought it to his notice. And he himself fully supported the COVIShield, but himself took a shot of the Covaxin. So, I mean, it shows a total disregard for the public, that if what he was not willing to do for himself, he was forcing the people because there was some profit in that. So it speaks very poorly of his position. So in order to go, even if he's booted out or it has been voted out, he should go with some grace, and that grace would be to say that at this time, my government was not aware of all the facts, but now that I know, we were establishing a committee to examine all the data and then suggest prosecution of who should be prosecuted and so on. And that will exonerate him. That will help him. I'm telling him for his own good. And if he doesn't do it, then of course the future government has a right to set it up. Or some of us who are finding this an unbearable atrocity on India would ourselves find PILs to see that this is brought to a final release. Notice that on the question of National Herald, they were all living up in the great fool's paradise, thinking that what can I do in that? Nothing will happen. And one day they lost power, and the first thing they had to come and take bail. Today is Sonia Gandhi and this Rahul Gandhi. They are both on bail. It's a criminal offense, and they are on bail. Of course, our country can hide these facts for after some time, because the general public doesn't know all the significance of this. The fact is, internationally, Mr. Modi will harm the party, will create the BJP's name as a which is already, again, a lot of people are against it because we are for Hindutva. So I would say to the Prime Minister, this is your time, this is your moment. You yourself set up an inquiry commission and see that the truth about what AstraZeneca was and how much we knew and who were the people who hid it, whether it's Tata or whether it's X or Y, all of them should be examined, made to give their stand on before a committee, and then we should proceed further.
Arvindji, you can, if you want, you can close. But again,
incidentally, in the law, just one point, I had a big quarrel once about the stealing of bats by Americans from Nagaland, and in that I found that the Tatas were the one who were helping the Americans do that. And the man who was in charge of the research of Tata Institute of Sciences or whatever it's called, he was made principal advisor.
Scientific advisor.
And he's still there. So therefore, when all these people are already well positioned, how do you expect anybody even if a scientist is there, his career will be affected when these guys will all pile on them. You see, you don't know when I exposed Tata in the 2G matter, how much um, propaganda was done by the Tatas against me. Of course, I am in a different class because I myself am a politician, and I also knew the economics of it, and so they couldn't get very far. And in fact, Tata ended up being part uh, of the investigation that took place. So I think we must understand that this is going to be a war in which there will be the people versus the establishment, and we have to teach the establishment a lesson. Don't play with national interests.
Dr. Swamy, incidentally, as you said, the guy who the owner's son, Adar Poonawalla, has bought the most expensive house in London for 138 million pounds.
Right.
Isn't
Right.
it so coincidental that in December of 2023 he buys it, 2021 he closed? I mean, the way people can do whatever they want with the lives of people in India, Dr. Swamy, is just it is just beyond me, Dr. I don't understand. I mean, how they get away with such, be it daylight robbery, daylight, almost daylight murder kind of a thing. I really don't understand how they get away with stuff, Dr. Swamy. Hopefully, and I pray what we don't know, as you said, what needs to get disclosed. Did Serum Institute have an indemnity or a zero liability kind of a deal when they gave the vaccine, which we don't know yet? Because as you said, once you do a PIL, when things come out, there is going to be more trouble for Modi. It is better that Modi institutes, as you said, you have
Yes.
given him a fair warning and says, do this on your own accord. Don't wait for all this to come up, and it's going to hurt. I don't care if Modi gets a bad name with this, but the party BJP is going to be impacted the most because of this. Because we don't want as you have been tweeting all along, we don't want the opposition, the Congress group, the Congress-led government to be there in the next one, because that is the end of. A lot of things that we have done so far will get undone.
Yeah.
It is so unfair for the people, and and just throwing one more vaccine after another on people without even any consideration whether they want it or not, saying that I will vaccinate girls. What is this? I don't understand this. So where is his aggression coming from? Why is he bothered about whether the girl should get a vaccine or not? It's up to the parents to decide whether what the child should get or not. Who are you to decide?
Yeah, I agree. I think let us redo this after the 6th of June.
Okay. Arunji, you can conclude.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. I think you have raised a very important point, and it is a very fair point that Prime Minister Narendra Modi should set up an investigating team, should set up a task force or SIT, call it whatever you like, and the thorough investigation should be done. Whether the clinical trials done in the case of AstraZeneca COVIShield or Covaxin was sufficient or not. And what I had earlier suggested was whether there is a correlation between the deaths which have taken place in last 2-3 years, especially of those people who have died of sudden cardiac arrest. And many people have mentioned, though it is no proof, and this team will establish the proof and correlation, whether these sudden deaths have anything to do with the vaccine which people have taken. There should be 3 different samples: people who have taken Covishield, people who have taken Covaxin, and people who have not taken any vaccine. And in all the 3 cases, the same similar study about the medical complications or the resultant deaths should be done. And the team can only establish whether there was a correlation or not. If that is established, then there should be a compensation through Government of India to the people who had been affected because of the vaccine. And of course, the responsibility lies with the Government of India. And in all fairness, though Prime Minister Narendra Modi has withdrawn his photograph from the certificates of the people who had received vaccination, but it is not only withdrawing the photograph which is sufficient. He should be fair to the people, since he was advising and advocating the vaccination. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for bringing this such a important issue, because it has been globally discussed. And COVIShield is, of course, used in India in this brand name, but the same company, AstraZeneca, had also produced similar thing by other brand name in different countries. And what I've heard is that in America, United States of America, people have already gone into seeking compensation because of death due to vaccination. Ramesh, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to share one small. As we are speaking, okay, I just want to share something with you. Serum Institute is now going to manufacture the cervical cancer vaccine, Dr. Swamy, the HPV vaccine. What a joke, Dr. Swamy. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Here, Serum Institute of India significantly boosts the supply of the human HPV vaccine. I mean, this is there cannot be much. I'm just shocked. But how is exactly Bill Gates comes and meets Modi and he wants to build a cervical cancer vaccine, and Serum Institute wants to build. This seems to be only a very simple closed loop, Dr. Swamy.
Does Bill Gates not know that RSS has a rule that nobody can be prime minister for more than 2 terms?
Doesn't matter, Dr. Swamy. They just want somebody in. If any other guy comes in, they want to do the same thing, Dr. Swamy. That's all. It's my opinion. Because
sure that another guy learns a lesson.
Unless, correct, exactly. And sorry, Arvind, because I wanted to share this, because Serum Institute is now.
No, it's a very important point that I've already said. I know for sure that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation works through Ministry of Health and Government of India, and I'm sure this proposal that you're highlighting that also has gone through Ministry of Health only. I don't know at what stage it is, but yes, it should be investigated, and only after thorough investigation, any decision on such new vaccination should be taken, in the light of the fact that similar vaccinations elsewhere have resulted in medical complications to the people who are taking vaccination. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Dr. Swamy.
One thing is that
this issue. Yeah,
we are not saying that Ayurveda is superior to Western medicine, because I think that also requires a great deal of examination, and to make sure that that you get a genuine Ayurveda medicine and not these fakes which are going around in the country.
Yeah,
Yes,
generally it is said that Ayurvedic medicines do not have any side effects. But whatever doctors I have been consulting in last 10, 15 years, every doctor has been telling me, don't take Ayurvedic medicines blindly. They also have side effects. So Dr. Swamy, it's a very important point. And a recent case against Patanjali in Supreme Court had also proved that they had made certain claims. And Baba Ramdev had to apologize publicly for issuing certain advertisements which were without any research findings. Yes, it's a very important point. Scientific research in any kind of medicine, whether it is allopathic, homeopathic, Unani, Ayurvedic, or whatever, should only be conducted before the permission for their use is given to the public. Thank you very much for bringing this issue today. Like this, every Sunday we bring to the people important issues facing India, and of course having global implications also. Next Sunday again we will come with Dr. Subramanian Swamy in 235th episode of Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga, and thanking the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Swaminathan, Ajesh Mehta, Vishal Mehta, Ajesh Nair, Gurdat Sethi, and Tejas Navalgul. We will be meeting again next Sunday, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time with a new topic and Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Viewers, till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.